July 30th at 10:55 p.m., Archangel Michael will reveal the truth you've been avoiding. He's crying because you keep turning away from his guidance. You always ignore him. Act wisely and watch this video quickly. There are certain moments in time that are not random. July 13th at 10:55 p.m. is one of them. It's not just another hour on the clock or another evening winding down. No, this time carries divine significance. Archangel Michael has been observing you in silence, standing at the edge of your decisions, watching as you teeter between obedience and avoidance. This moment has been appointed in the spirit for one purpose: to uncover what you've buried, the truth you've kept locked away inside your soul. You may think you've been running from people, pain, or the past, but in reality, you've been turning your face away from divine correction. For weeks now, Michael has tried to reach you through delays, lost sleep, strange dreams, or that sharp pull in your gut you keep brushing off. But every time he nears, you shut the door. You call it stress. You call it coincidence. You've given it every name except what it really is: divine interruption. The truth is, this message isn't reaching everyone. It's not supposed to. It's reaching the one who's been warned before and didn't listen. The one who's gotten too comfortable numbing instead of healing. The one who's convinced themselves they're too broken to be worthy of divine pursuit. He is not just whispering this time. He's crying. And yes, angels feel. Michael, the mighty one who battles for your soul, grieves not because of your failure but because of your resistance. You keep asking for clarity while closing your eyes. You ask for guidance but ignore the signs. He's not sending this word to judge you. He's sending it so you don't destroy yourself by accident. What's coming at 10:55 p.m. is not just a truth. It is the truth. One that could unravel everything, but also rebuild everything if received in stillness. So don't click away. Don't scroll past. Sit in this moment like your soul depends on it, because it does. Something has been following you. A pattern. A shadow. A lie you adopted as identity. And tonight, it breaks. If you're not prepared to see what you've been avoiding, this message will shake you. But if you are, it will finally free you. He's giving you one last chance to listen without defending yourself. To feel without fleeing. To open, not resist. July 30th is not a warning. It's a turning point. And what you do with it will echo for years to come. You felt it last night, didn't you? That sudden wave of emotion that came out of nowhere. The kind that doesn't belong to your current mood or the room you were sitting in. That heaviness that wrapped around your chest. That unexplainable sense that something was wrong, even though everything looked fine. That wasn't random. It wasn't depression. It wasn't anxiety. It was a warning from the spiritual realm, carried through the breath of Archangel Michael himself. Because when heaven speaks and you ignore it, the cries of your guardian become louder, not softer. Michael doesn't knock gently anymore. He pounds with urgency because time is short. He's seen what you haven't seen. He's heard conversations behind your back, seen the envy and the smiles of people you trust, and watched as hidden traps have been laid for you, ones you're too distracted to notice. As grief doesn't come from weakness. It comes from love, from loyalty, from the pain of knowing you're walking toward destruction while believing it's safety. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. And still, you justify your disconnection. You chalk it up to exhaustion. You drown it in music or scroll through distractions until your spirit goes numb again. But Michael has been appointed to your life for more than just comfort. He's a warrior. And a warrior doesn't weep without reason. He's been pleading with the heavens on your behalf, but his voice has grown hoarse from your silence. You asked for answers, but when they showed up in inconvenient ways, like closed doors or painful endings, you called it misfortune. You've been misreading divine protection as punishment. There are moments you were delayed not because God was angry, but because Michael was holding something back that would have destroyed you. You thought it was rejection. It was redirection. You thought it was betrayal. It was unveiling. And yet you kept pushing forward, ignoring the signs, convincing yourself that your way was the only way. But if you pause, even for one breath, you'll realize something has felt off for a while. The beetle, the timing, the atmosphere. Your spirit knows what your mind keeps denying. Type I am anointed to get blessing 5562. Michael is now pushing this message into your path because time is collapsing. The spiritual realm doesn't operate on human clocks. But even in heaven, there are windows that close. You are in one right now. If you keep walking like you've been walking, a truth will be revealed, but it won't be revealed to you. It'll be revealed through your pain. But if you slow down, open up, and receive this correction, you'll gain the kind of clarity that protects not only your mind, but your destiny. His tears tonight are sacred. Don't waste them. This is not about fear. It's about awakening. Archangel Michael isn't coming to shame you. He's coming to shake you free from the deception you've called comfort. The danger isn't always what others are doing. Sometimes, it's what you're refusing to see. The truth he's trying to show you isn't just about them, it's about you. Your patterns, your choices, your denial. If you have the courage to accept that, then what was meant to harm you will end up building you into something unshakable. But that process only begins when you stop ignoring the cry. Type I am chosen to receive the blessing 6720. You're not being haunted, you're being hunted by purpose. A discomfort you feel, that's your old identity dying. That restless energy, that's your future calling. Don't confuse the ending of something familiar with the absence of divine order. Michael sees what's next for you, and it's beautiful, but only if you let go of what's been masking the truth. The same hands that are weeping now will be the same ones fighting for you when you decide to listen. So, pause here. Listen closely. The cry of your guardian is not the end. It's the beginning. When heaven speaks, it does not shout. It moves. Subtly at first, like a whisper on the wind, nudging your heart in a certain direction. Then, when ignored, it presses harder, disrupting your peace, shifting your atmosphere, causing things to fall apart so you can fall into alignment. Archangel Michael has not stayed silent. He's been moving pieces in your life. The plans that didn't work out, the relationships that fell through, the nights you felt alone for no reason. All of them were the movements of heaven trying to realign you with divine truth. But you called it misfortune instead of mercy. There is a sacred cost to ignoring the language of the Spirit. You've asked for signs, but when they did come how you expected, you dismissed them. You've asked for truth, but when it arrived wrapped in discomfort, you turned away. And yet, heaven hasn't stopped speaking. Archangel Michael hasn't stopped trying. What breaks him isn't your imperfection. It's your indifference. You say you want the truth, but every time it shows up, you look away, hoping it changes shape before you face it. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7144. Some truths don't knock. They cry. Michael isn't warning you because you're weak. He's warning you because you're chosen. You carry a calling, one you felt since childhood but buried under fear, trauma, and the need for acceptance. Every detour you've taken was a way to delay your destiny. And now, heaven's hand is reaching again, not in anger but in urgency. July 13th at 10:55 p.m. is the divine intersection where your spiritual ears must open. If you keep waiting for truth to come dressed in comfort, you will miss what God is trying to save you from. He's seen the deception playing out in your life. The person whose presence always drains you. That's no accident. The opportunity that looked too good to be true but left you empty inside. That wasn't coincidence. Michael's tears tonight are not just grief. They are evidence. Evidence that heaven has tried again and again to make you see. And now, because you didn't respond to whispers, he's revealing it all at once. In one moment, 1 hour, one divine window where what you've avoided will stand in front of you, undeniable and raw. Type I am anointed to get blessing 6231. You've been training yourself to live numb, detached from your own spirit. You've built routines to silence the pull. You've even made peace with your own stagnancy, convincing yourself that stillness is safety. But Archangel Michael sees the war you've been dodging, and he knows it will find you if you don't rise now. What you've been avoiding will not remain hidden. Whether in grace or in chaos, truth always comes. This is your opportunity to receive it before it breaks you. It's a divine mercy disguised in discomfort. And let's be honest, deep down, you know something has to change. There's been a restlessness within you, a quiet knowing that what you're doing and who you're becoming are not aligned. You've tried to suppress it, ignore it, distract it, but it always returns. And now, Michael's voice is louder than ever. Not because he's angry, but because he loves you too much to watch you self-destruct in slow motion. He's preparing to reveal what you were never meant to carry and offer you a future you never thought you could reclaim. Tonight is not just about confrontation, it's about liberation. Archangel Michael's tears carry the weight of every moment you could have broken free but didn't. Yet still he fights. Still he speaks. Still he shows up. He has seen you in the dark and refused to leave. But the time has come. The divine schedule is no longer delayed. What's been hidden will rise, and what's been destroying you silently will now scream. You asked for breakthrough. This is what it looks like. Unmasking, exposure, and healing. If you dare to face it, Michael will help you rise with new fire in your soul. If this word has stirred your spirit and ignited boldness within you, consider showing your support with a super thanks of $20. Your generosity empowers us to continue releasing prophetic guidance, clarity, and strength to those journeying from betrayal to blessing. You can also support our mission through PayPal donation by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every contribution makes a meaningful impact and helps us keep creating and sharing with you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment of divine instruction, heavenly insight, and spirit-led guidance designed for your breakthrough. Type I am free to get the blessing 5888. There's a certain type of truth that doesn't just speak, it pierces. It doesn't arrive with soft comfort or polite warnings. It comes with fire, because fire is the only thing that can burn away the false narratives you've built around your pain. Archangel Michael knows this truth hath been knocking on the door of your soul for years, but you've always managed to talk over it. You've convinced yourself that staying busy was the same as being okay. But deep down, you knew something was cracking. And now, that crack is wide enough for heaven to step through. What's coming at 10:55 p.m. is not about punishment, it's about preparation. Michael isn't revealing this truth to embarrass you or shame you. He's revealing it so you'll stop carrying what was never yours to hold. He's showing you the face behind the mask, the real reason that relationship drained you, the real cause of that financial blockage, the hidden source of that spiritual numbness you keep calling just tired. You've been asking, why does this keep happening to me? But the truth is, you've been standing in agreement with the lie. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6933. The lie told you that if you kept the peace, you'd be safe. That if you didn't confront what hurt you, it would eventually go away. That if you just prayed hard enough, you wouldn't have to feel the depth of your disappointment. But Michael knows better. He knows you've been surviving instead of living. He knows that your silence hasn't been strength. It's been surrender to the wrong battle. This truth he's about to unveil will sting, yes, but only because it's cutting through the infection. And you need that cut. Because some healing can only happen when the wound is opened and cleaned out. You've let things fester in your spirit for too long. People who never apologize. Promises you made yourself out of fear. Secrets you hoped no one would uncover. Michael's mission isn't to embarrass you. It's to empty you of what's been rotting your purpose. He cries not because you failed, but because you stopped believing you could still be restored. He's reminding you, it's not too late, but it will be, if you keep pretending. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7880. The illusion that you're fine is what's keeping you stuck. You've layered so many distractions, obligations, and fake smiles over the truth that even you have forgotten what real freedom feels like. But Michael remembers. He remembers the day you were born, the moment your soul was assigned to divine destiny. He has fought battles you never saw. He's blocked demonic access you never knew was near. And now, he's saying, enough pretending, enough hiding. It's time to let the truth in. It's time to see what heaven sees when it looks at you. Because here's what heaven knows. The truth will not destroy you. It will deliver you. What will destroy you is continued avoidance, the willful ignorance of the soul. You can't outrun what's spiritual with natural distractions. You can't keep feeding your pain with silence and expect peace. Michael's message is clear. You must face what you've been ignoring before it manifests into something you can't control. This is your turning point, a crossroads between clarity and chaos. Choose wisely or the truth will choose for you. Everything you've been through wasn't random. It was preparation for this moment. The breakdowns, the betrayals, the closed doors, the spiritual silence. It was all a divine orchestration to lead you to this truth, to this unmasking, to this night. July 13th at 10:55 p.m. is not about guilt. It's about grace. Grace that reveals. Grace that heals. Grace that demands your honesty so that you can finally be free. Michael doesn't just fight for you. He fights with you. But only if you stop running and stand still long enough to face what's been hiding in plain sight. Type I am restored to get the blessing 8421. There is always a moment right before something is exposed when the atmosphere changes. It becomes dense, quiet, almost heavy, as if the very air knows what's coming. You've been living inside that atmosphere for weeks now. That subtle anxiety, that strange tension. Way familiar places no longer feel safe. That's not your imagination. That's the pressure of divine truth building behind a veil that's about to be ripped open. Archangel Michael has been walking beside you, placing his hand between you and unseen danger, holding back consequences until your spirit is ready to see. But readiness does not always feel like confidence. Sometimes, it feels like unraveling. You've likely felt more disoriented lately, confused about people you once trusted, unsure of decisions you used to make so easily. This is not chaos. This is divine interruption. It is the shaking that always happens before truth is revealed. It's the spiritual earthquake that breaks the foundations of denial so that clarity can rise from the rubble. And make no mistake, clarity is coming. Type I am rising to get the blessing 9012. There's someone in your life who has been wearing a false face. Someone whose words say one thing but whose spirit tells another story. You sensed it. You've excused it. You've even questioned yourself, wondering if you were just being too sensitive. But Michael has seen what's behind the performance. He's seen the motive, the manipulation, the secret envy dressed up as support. And he's tired of watching you sacrifice your peace for someone else's comfort. That's why this moment matters. That's why the exposure is necessary. What's hidden is hindering your destiny. You've been told to forgive, and you've done that. You turned the other cheek. You held your tongue. But forgiveness doesn't mean blindness. Michael is not revealing his person to provoke revenge. He's revealing them so you can reclaim your authority. There is a boundary you've refused to draw, and it's cost you spiritual power. But at 10:55 p.m., that line will be drawn for you. You will see it clearly. You will feel it break. And once you do, you won't be able to unsee it. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9444. And it's not just people. There's a behavior, a belief, a habit you've allowed to linger too long. Something that's been quietly compromising your anointing. You told yourself it was harmless. You called it a coping mechanism. But Michael knows it's a slow poison to your purpose. He's revealing it not to shame you, but to rescue you. He's showing you how the enemy has disguised the trap as relief. And now, you must choose. Keep soothing your wounds with what's secretly wounding you, or let heaven tear the veil once and for all. You've asked for transformation, but true transformation only happens at the edge of truth. That's where you are now. On the edge. One step away from a breakthrough that doesn't feel like victory at first. It feels like exposure. But exposure is not defeat. It's light. It's healing. It's the moment you see clearly enough to walk away from what you once begged to stay. Michael is weeping not because you're weak, but because he knows this is your threshold. This is the place where falsehood breaks and the real you rises. The blessing isn't in the comfort. It's in the clarity. That's what July 30th at 10:55 p.m. is about. Not a moment of embarrassment, but of empowerment. A divine alignment that can only happen when everything fake, fragile, and fearful falls away. You are not being exposed to fall. You are being exposed to fly. What felt like the enemy pulling you apart is actually heaven, putting you back together. And Michael, your fiercest protector, is standing with his sword drawn, not against others, but against every lie you believe about who you are and what you deserve. Type I'm chosen to receive the blessing 7127. Avoidance is a silent thief. It doesn't knock down your door or scream in your face. It whispers. It distracts. It comforts you into delay. Over time, it builds walls around your heart so carefully that you forget what it feels like to live exposed, to live free. And that's what Archangel Michael is confronting now. You've avoided things that needed confronting. You've postponed healing that required pain. You've delayed truth because comfort felt easier. But heaven doesn't negotiate with delay. Heaven delivers you on time, or not at all. You keep saying, I'll deal with it later, but later has arrived. It has a timestamp. July 30th at 10:55 p.m. And what you don't confront now will soon confront you. Archangel Michael has reached his limit of quiet warnings. What you've been ignoring has grown roots. What you've been tolerating has now begun to control. You think you're in charge, but the patterns you refuse to challenge are making choices for you. And if you don't interrupt them, they will define your future. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 8355. Think about the decisions you've made out of fear, fear of rejection, fear of change, fear of being alone. Those fears have kept you in cycles that look like progress but are really just polished pain. You've mastered the art of moving without healing, building without resting, and achieving while spiritually starving. But Michael isn't impressed with your performance. He's fighting for your purity, not just outward but inward. Because without it, you will continue mistaking movement for momentum, and that is the most dangerous kind of deception. There's something you've buried. A decision. A truth. A revelation. Something you knew you needed to change, but you looked away. Michael saw you when you hesitated. He felt the moment you silenced your conscience to preserve a false peace. And now, that silence is costing you clarity. Heaven never intended for you to stay in confusion this long. But heaven honors your free will. If you choose to stay asleep, it won't wake you. But tonight is the final alarm. If you open your eyes now, you'll be able to see what others missed. Type I'm anointed to get blessings 7766. This truth isn't just about you. There are people connected to your obedience. Generations waiting on your healing. You think you're avoiding a conversation, a confrontation, or a decision, but in reality, you've been avoiding your assignment. Michael knows the cost of delay. He knows the weight of unrealized destiny. And that's why his tears fall with urgency. He's not emotional because you failed. He's emotional because you were born for so much more than this denial you've called survival. Every time you feel that strange pressure in your chest, that tug in your soul, that ache when you lie awake at night, it's not anxiety. It's calling. Heaven's call doesn't always sound like thunder. Sometimes it sounds like your own spirit breaking from the weight of what you were never meant to carry. You've been carrying disappointment like it's your identity, carrying guilt like it's your shadow. But Michael has come to break that agreement, to rip the roots out, to cleanse your spirit so deeply that you no longer recognize the version of yourself that was built in hiding. Avoidance was never your friend. It disguised itself as rest, as protection, as wisdom. But really, it was the rope that kept tying you to what God already told you to walk away from. And now, you stand at the edge again. It's time. The light is piercing. It's time. The voice is louder. And this time, you don't get to pretend you didn't know. The truth is here. The clock is ticking. Michael's sword is raised. And you must choose. Avoid it again, or answer the call and never look back. Type I am clean to get the blessing 6677. There are interruptions, and then there are sacred interruptions, the kind that don't just stop your plans but realign your soul. You're not in a season of disruption. You're in a season of divine recalibration. What feels like confusion is actually clarity being born through pressure. And Archangel Michael is the one leading that shift. He's not here to ask your permission. He's here to waken your spirit, to interrupt your routine, your rationalizations, and your running. Because what you call timing, heaven calls mercy. And mercy isn't always gentle. Sometimes it breaks what's breaking you. The signs have been screaming, but you've trained your spirit to go deaf. The timing of everything lately, the sudden changes, the emotional distance between you and certain people, the recurring frustrations. They are not random. They are intentional. Heaven hath been preparing the stage for this exact moment. Michael's tears are not just sadness, they are saturation. Saturation from all the missed signs, the avoided truths, and the divine delays that were meant to save you. You keep calling it a setback. Michael calls it a sacred interruption. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6244. The truth you've been ignoring isn't hiding anymore. It's standing in front of you, grasped in every unanswered question you shoved aside. Why didn't they call back? Why did that door suddenly close? Why did you lose passion for what used to inspire you? These are not coincidences. They are coordinates. Each one pointing you toward the one place you haven't looked, within. Because the war isn't around you, it's inside you. And Michael knows that unless you face that war, you'll keep losing battles that were never supposed to be yours. You keep waiting for someone to validate your pain, to give you permission to move on, to confirm what your spirit already knows. But heaven doesn't work that way. When truth comes, it often comes alone. Michael is not sending you a crowd. He's sending you clarity. Clarity requires stillness, and stillness requires surrender. This is why he's broken the flow of your daily life. So you'll finally stop long enough to hear what your soul has been whispering beneath the noise. Type I'm anointed to get blessings 7595. You prayed for answers, but you didn't expect the answer to be loss. You wanted a revelation that felt like joy, but sometimes the clearest revelations come through grief, through letting go, through finally admitting that something's been off for a long time, that you've been settling for connection without intimacy, survival without peace, purpose without fulfillment. And Archangel Michael is now shining divine light on every place where you've lied to yourself for the sake of feeling safe. That light may burn, but it will not kill you. It will restore you. Michael isn't trying to ruin your life. He's trying to return you to the life you were born for. The calling you set aside because of fear. The identity you shrank because of criticism. The peace you forfeited for the illusion of control. And now he's shaking the ground beneath you, not to destroy your world, but to destroy the prison you've built inside it. The one made of good intentions and deep wounds, of unspoken grief and spiritual avoidance. It cannot stand any longer. July 13th at 10:55 p.m. is your moment of sacred interruption. The hour when heaven pauses your momentum to inject purpose into your path again. The hour when lies lose power and truth takes the throne. The hour when Michael stops weeping and starts warring. With you, not for you. He's not here to rescue you like before. He's here to partner with you now. Because you're ready. You're called. And above all, you're chosen. The truth is here. And it's time to let it lead. If this word has resonated with your spirit and awakened fresh boldness in your heart, we invite you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your support helps us continue sharing prophetic insight, clarity, and strength with others navigating the path from betrayal to blessing. You can also partner with us through a donation via PayPal. Just click the support here link in the video description. Every gift, big or small, fuels our ability to keep delivering encouragement and truth to those who need it most. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment of divine direction, spirit-led revelation, and timely encouragement crafted for your breakthrough. Type I am delivered to get the blessing 8088. Truth doesn't arrive quietly when it's been silenced for too long. It roars. It burns. It tears through every false agreement you've made with fear. And that's what's approaching now, a spiritual fire, a divine unveiling. At 10:55 p.m. on July 13th, Archangel Michael is not simply delivering a message. He's igniting a confrontation between who you pretend to be and who you were always meant to become. That moment isn't coming to harm you, it's coming to cleanse you. And cleansing is never painless. Cleansing means letting go of what you swore you needed, only to discover it was poisoning you. You see, Michael is not interested in making you comfortable. He's committed to making you whole. And wholeness requires the fire. You've outgrown the excuses. You've matured past the delusion. But you're still trying to fit into an identity that no longer holds your spirit. That's why you feel like you're suffocating. You're too big for the lie you keep living inside. The fire is coming to break you out. And when it hits, it won't be quiet. It will be sudden, holy, undeniable. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6311. That fire might look like someone leaving without warning. It might feel like a job you thought you needed falling apart. It might sting like betrayal. But it's not meant to destroy, it's meant to reveal. What Michael wants to show you has always been there. You just couldn't see it through the noise of people-pleasing, the fog of busyness, the addiction to avoiding discomfort. But now, heaven is clearing the smoke. The flame is here to purify. And what survives the fire is what was meant to remain. Stop running from the heat. Stop praying for the flame to go away. Instead, ask heaven to teach you how to walk through it. Because on the other side is the version of you that isn't swayed by lies, guilt, or the manipulations of people who never had your best interest at heart. You've played small long enough. You've watered yourself down for the sake of keeping peace with people who were never in covenant with your purpose. Michael sees that. And this fire is your release. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7740. Understand this. Exposure doesn't come to embarrass the called, it comes to empower them. The truth that will rise at 10:55 p.m. is not just for your mind, it's for your lineage. This is generational deliverance. The cycle ends when a calling is honored, and your calling has been buried under denial, self-sabotage, and exhaustion. But Michael hath been guarding it, waiting for the hour when you'd stop fearing your fire and start trusting your forge. That hour is always here. When the truth appears, don't argue with it. Don't try to make it more palatable. Let it be sharp. Let it pierce. Let it expose what needs to die. Because only then will you see how long you've been living beneath your birthright. Heaven never designed you for confusion. That fog around your decisions isn't your normal. It's a symptom of spiritual misalignment. But the flame will cut through the fog. The sword will divide soul from spirit. The light will make everything clear. Archangel Michael's fire is not rage, it's love in its most unfiltered form. Love that doesn't leave you in broken cycles. Love that doesn't tolerate your torment. Love that doesn't wait for your approval to begin the rescue. He's coming, and the flame he brings will leave nothing untouched. Everything false will fall. Everything heavy will lift. And in the middle of that burning, you'll finally feel something you've forgotten. Peace. Not the peace that numbs, but the peace that restores. It is your time. Let it burn. Type I am refined to get the blessing 8226. There are agreements you've made without ever speaking a word. Contracts of the soul. Pacts with pain. Bonds with belief systems that were planted in you when you were too young to know better. And now, Archangel Michael is stepping into the courtroom of your spirit to break those silent agreements. He's not just here to fight what's around you. He's here to dissolve what's within you. The things you tolerated. The false truths you accepted. the wounds you shaped your identity around. It's all being called to the surface because it can no longer stay hidden. You didn't realize when you said yes to survival, you also said no to peace. You didn't know that making excuses for their behavior became a contract of self-abandonment. You thought you were being strong. You thought you were preserving relationships. But in reality, you were abandoning your own spirit. And heaven watched you slowly disappear beneath layers of compromise. Michael saw every time you kept quiet to keep the peace, even though it shattered your inner world. And now, heaven is issuing a divine reversal. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6983. This reversal doesn't come through rage, it comes through revelation. A sudden, holy awakening that shows you just how many spiritual agreements you've lived under without knowing. I'll never trust again. Maybe I'm just meant to be alone. This is as good as it gets. These phrases were more than emotional reactions. They were declarations, vows, and the enemy has used them as legal grounds to keep you bound. But Michael is coming to break the legalities, to void every agreement that does not align with your calling. That's why the discomfort has intensified. That's why your peace has been disrupted. Because something sacred is approaching, and the enemy knows it. He's been scrambling, trying to hold you down with distractions and detours, trying to make you believe that this is just another emotional moment, that this message is just coincidence. But Michael knows the difference between coincidence and confrontation. This moment is divine confrontation, and what you choose now will either anchor your soul or extend your wilderness. Type I am anointed to get blessing 8442. You may be wondering why the spiritual realm feels louder right now, why your dreams are sharper, why old memories have been resurfacing. It's because your spirit is finally responding to heaven's summons. What you buried is being resurrected, not to haunt you but to heal you. The contract is being laid out before you, and you must choose whether to renew the lie or reject it. Michael will not force your decision, but he will reveal the truth, and once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. Every lie you've agreed with will try to scream louder in this season. That you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that nothing ever changes. But those are echoes, not prophecy. You've lived under echoes long enough. Echoes of trauma, echoes of rejection, echoes of abandonment. But July 13th is when the echo ends and the voice of God reclaims the space. And when His voice speaks, it silences every other sound. This is your moment of divine severance. Let it happen. Michael is not here to offer comfort for the contract you made. He's here to cancel it. And in its place, He's writing something new. A covenant of wholeness. A declaration of restoration. A commitment from heaven that says you will no longer be bound by what broke you. But to receive it, you must tear up the old script. Stop playing roles that no longer serve your soul. Stop repeating cycles that end in regret. The new agreement is written in light, not fear. And the pen is already in Michael's hand. All that's left is your signature of surrender. Type I am free to get the blessing 7801. You are standing on a threshold, one foot in the familiar, the other trembling in the unknown. That's the nature of divine alignment. It never comes quietly, and it never asks if you're ready. It disrupts. It exposes. It demands that you stop pretending confusion is comfort. Archangel Michael sees that you've been wrestling, not just with your situation, but with yourself. One side of you craves breakthrough, the other fears what it will cost. And now, the heavens have decided, no more delay. You either step into truth, or you remain bound to everything you were supposed to outgrow. You've prayed, God, send me confirmation. And now it's here, in the form of discomfort, and the people who subtly change, in the job that's no longer fulfilling, in the knowing realization that your spirit no longer fits inside the box you once built to survive. That's confirmation. That's divine pressure. Michael isn't here to negotiate you and to change you. He's here to push you into it. Because the hour is late, and what you've been tolerating is starting to rot the roots of your destiny. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7992. The reason your peace has become so fragile lately is because your atmosphere is no longer aligned with your assignment. You've been trying to fit an elevated spirit into a compromised environment. That's why you feel agitated around certain people. Why your soul recoils from conversations that used to feel normal. Michael is adjusting your spiritual frequency. He's tuning your ears to hear the truth in every silence, to see the motive behind every smile. This is not paranoia. It's discernment. It's the sharpening of your gift. And with every sharpening comes a shedding. You are being asked to let go of who you were when you first got hurt. That version of you, the one that made excuses, absorbed blame, and hid your voice, is no longer needed. That version helped you survive, but it cannot help you soar. Archangel Michael is not grieving because of your past. He's grieving because he sees what happens if you keep holding on to it. The weight is too heavy for where you're going. You must release it before it drags your future down. Type I'm anointed to get blessing 6625. This threshold moment will feel like loss. And in a way it is. You're losing illusions. You're losing false safety. You're losing connections that were only sustained by your silence. But what you gain will be far greater. Alignment brings clarity. Clarity brings acceleration. And acceleration breaks cycles that would have taken years to undo on your own. Michael is not just breaking you out. He's setting you up. For healing. For influence. For spiritual dominion. But you must walk through the doorway, not just stare at it. Don't expect the old to clap for your new. Some people will interpret your alignment as arrogance. Let them. Some doors will close tighter the moment you choose truth. Let them. You are not here to convince anyone of your growth. You are here to obey. And obedience doesn't come with a cheer squad. It comes with fire. That fire is what will light your way when others try to pull you back into the dark. Don't go. Don't explain. Just walk forward. July 13th at 10:55 p.m. is more than a timestamp. It's your pivot point. The place where obedience collides with destiny. The place where Michael's weeping turns into warring, and where your fear finally gives way to divine confidence. If you step through, everything changes. Not all at once, but undeniably. The sky won't split. The earth won't shake. But you will feel it, the shift. That sacred settling of your soul that whispers, I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. That is the reward of alignment. And it's waiting on the other side of yes. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred fresh courage within you, we encourage you to respond with a super thanks of $20. Your support enables us to continue releasing prophetic words that bring clarity, healing, and hope to those moving from betrayal into breakthrough. You can also donate through PayPal by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every seed sown strengthens our ability to speak life and truth into the lives of others. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of spirit-led wisdom, prophetic direction, and divine encouragement tailored to your season of transformation. Type I'm moving forward to get the blessing 8890. Here's a mask you've worn so long, you forgot it was ever a mask. It's the smile you've perfected to keep people from asking questions. It's the confidence you wear when your heart is actually breaking. It's the silence you choose when your spirit is screaming to speak. And Archangel Michael is not angry with you for wearing it. He's just finished watching it suffocate you. The mask helped you survive. But now it's keeping you from being seen, from being healed, from being you. And tonight, heaven is determined to pull it off. You didn't become this version of yourself overnight. You adjusted slowly. Every time someone misunderstood you, you dimmed. Every time you were criticized, you hardened. Every time someone left you without explanation, you started believing you were too much or not enough. Layer by layer, you built a version of you that can survive in broken places. But Michael knows the real you, the one behind the shield. And that version is the one called, chosen, and desperately needed right now. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7117. The mask isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. It's a persona built from disappointments, a shell crafted from trauma, a survival suit that keeps your wounds from being seen but also blocks healing from reaching you. That's why no matter how much success you find, you still feel a gap inside. The gap isn't failure, it's a cry from your true self, begging to be freed. Heaven is not content with surface healing anymore. Michael isn't fighting for the mask to survive, he's fighting for the soul underneath. There's power in being seen, even if it means being seen broken. That's what terrifies you, isn't it? That if you're honest about your pain, people will leave. But if you stop pretending, you'll fall apart. But what if falling apart is exactly what leads to wholeness? What if taking off the mask doesn't end you, but resurrects you? You weren't created to live a lie, even if that lie made life easier. You were made to reflect heaven, and heaven cannot reflect through a disguise. Top I am anointed to get blessing 7636. You may lose people when the mask falls, but you will find yourself. You may disappoint others, but you will stop disappointing your destiny. And that exchange is worth everything. Michael is not inviting you into weakness. He's inviting you into raw, sacred strength. The kind that doesn't flinch under pressure. The kind that isn't shaken by who walks away. The kind that makes demons nervous and angels rejoice. And that strength cannot live behind masks. It demands transparency. When you remove the mask, don't expect everyone to applaud. Some love the version of you that stayed quiet. Some depended on your disguise to remain comfortable. Let them go. The unveiling isn't for them. It's for you. For your peace. For your restoration. You've outgrown the fake smile. You've outgrown the shallow connections. You've outgrown the coping that masquerades as confidence. Michael has seen your core, and he says it's time the world does too. This part of the journey is vulnerable, yes, but it's also sacred. This is the space where healing becomes permanent, where the performance ends and purpose begins, where you finally feel the weight lift, not because your life changed, but because you stopped hiding. The truth at 10:55 p.m. will strip what's false, but it will not leave you exposed to shame. It will clothe you in authenticity and glory, and the radiance of someone who chose truth over applause. That's who you really are. And Michael has waited long enough for the world to see it. Type I am unveiled to get the blessing 8292. Right before a divine shift happens, there is always a test. Not a test of punishment, but a test of posture. Heaven wants to know, will you still believe when it's silent? Will you stay when everything in you wants to flee? Will you obey even when obedience costs your comfort? That's where you are now. The brehu is impediment, it's goveration. Archangel Michael knows this moment will define what unfolds after 10:55 p.m. on July 13th. He's not testing your strength. He's testing your surrender. Your willingness to drop your resistance and lean into the voice that's been chasing you. You keep asking for release, but what you really need is revelation. And revelation doesn't come without fire. That final situation that's pressing on your nerves right now. That's not just coincidence. It's the final exam before elevation. You're being asked to respond differently. To pause instead of panic. To pray instead of please. To speak truth instead of staying silent for the sake of fake peace. The test is simple. Will you revert to your old cycle, or will you rise into your new name? Type I am rising to get the blessing 7755. This test may look like betrayal. Someone close to you revealing their true intentions. It may look like confusion. Plans falling apart at the last minute. It may even feel like loss. An opportunity slipping through your hands. But don't misread the test. The enemy wants you to panic. Heaven wants you to perceive. Michael isn't watching silently. He's hovering, ready to intervene if you walk in discernment. Because this test isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to respond. The old you would have reacted. The old you would have folded. The old you would have begged to be understood. But the version of you that Michael is activating no longer performs for validation. You recognize divine patterns. You discern timing. You no longer mistake agitation for anxiety. You know it's a signal. And right now, heaven is signaling you to hold your peace, sharpen your sight, and walk boldly, even if the ground trembles. This is your threshold test. Your final proving ground before prophetic release. Top I am anointed to get blessing 8810. If you're in a test, it means heaven sees capacity in you. You've grown. You matured. You're ready, even if your emotions haven't caught up to the truth yet. Archangel Michael has seen your endurance. He's watched you cry and still show up. He's watched you get overlooked and still obey. And now, you are being invited to walk through fire without panic, because this time, the fire won't consume you. It will confirm you. At 10:55 p.m., clarity will fall like thunder. Everything that confused you will suddenly make sense. The silence of heaven will be broken with revelation. And the very thing you thought was delaying you will be exposed as divine protection. That's why this test feels unfamiliar. It's not about delay anymore. It's about destiny. You are being measured in the spirit. Not by performance, but by posture. And your response now will open or close what's next. Choose stillness. Choose faith. Choose truth. You're not failing. You're finishing. The confusion is a sign that a chapter is closing. The ache in your soul is the weight of old spiritual debris leaving your system. Don't rush through this moment. Let it settle. Let the test teach you. Because the you that emerges on the other side will walk differently, speak differently, hear differently. And Michael will no longer weep. He'll war beside you, rejoicing that the one he's guarded has finally awakened into purpose. Let this test pass through you. Let it purify what can't remain. And when it's over, step forward, unchained, unafraid, and unwavering. Type I am steady to get the blessing 6904. There is an hour when heaven pulls back the curtain and truth stands naked before the soul. That hour is 10:55 p.m. on July 13th. It's not just a time. It's a spiritual appointment. The veil is lifting. The fog is breaking. What was once distorted will suddenly become undeniable. Archangel Michael is already in motion. His sword has been drawn not to strike you, but to sever what's been hiding in your atmosphere. He's not just clearing your path, he's exposing what's been crouching in the shadows. And when it's revealed, you won't be able to unsee it. You'll hear it in their tone. The one who always said the right words, but whose heart never matched. You'll see it in the patterns, the opportunities that always ended in confusion, the people who drained you under the guise of support. Everything that felt off but couldn't be explained will now stand exposed. Heaven is making the invisible visible. You prayed for eyes to see. This is the moment that prayer is answered. Don't flinch. Don't doubt yourself. Michael is confirming what your spirit has sensed for a long time. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7773. The revelation won't be loud. It won't always come through confrontation. In fact, much of it will unfold in silence. A sudden realization. A conversation that feels hollow. A moment of clarity that hits you like lightning. This is the divine gift of spiritual vision. And once your eyes adjust to truth, you will no longer tolerate what once seduced you. It's the power of divine revealing. It doesn't just show you what's wrong, it changes what you desire. It upgrades your discernment and reprograms your boundaries. Michael's tears tonight aren't just sadness, they are sacred activation. He's weeping because he knows what's been hidden from you. And now that it's time to reveal it, he doesn't cry because it will hurt you. He cries because it will heal you. You've been living in partial sight, trusting people who never qualified, ignoring whispers that came from God, not fear. But now the whisper becomes a voice. The signs become a spotlight. And what was once tolerated will no longer survive in your presence. Type I'm anointed to get blessing 8944. You may be tempted to second-guess yourself in the moment. But hear this, truth doesn't need validation to be real. Michael is confirming this not through outside approval, but inward revelation. You will know what's true, not because someone told you, but because your spirit will no longer allow you to unsee it. That knowing will come with peace. Not comfort, but peace. The type of peace that settles deep into your bones and says, finally, the fog has lifted. The weight has shifted. I see. Do not run from the clarity. Don't drown it with distractions. Sit in it. Stare into it. Let the truth rearrange your relationships, your routines, your reality. Michael didn't bring you this far to leave you shaking in uncertainty. He brought you here to confirm what heaven had been saying for months. And this hour, this divine timestamp, has been orchestrated for one holy purpose, to reclaim your vision. When you can see clearly, you begin to live correctly. This isn't just a revealing of people, it's a revealing of purpose. You will look back on this night and say, that was the moment everything changed. Not because someone finally apologized, not because you got the outcome you wanted, but because you finally saw, and seeing broke the spell. Seeing ended the cycle. Seeing gave you permission to move forward, fully awake, fully aligned. This is the hour. Don't blink. Don't delay. Let the truth come in like a flood, and let it wash away everything that never belonged in your light. Type I am awakened to get the blessing 8205. This is it. The veil has lifted. The lies have shattered. The masks have fallen. And now, at the edge of this moment, you are no longer who you were. You are standing in the aftermath of revelation, not broken, but awakened. Not shaking in fear, but grounded in holy truth. Archangel Michael is no longer weeping. He is watching to see what you will do now that the truth has arrived. You asked for clarity, and heaven gave it. You cried for signs, and heaven flooded your path. Now comes the most sacred decision you will ever make. Will you act on what's been revealed? Because revelation without obedience is just spiritual entertainment. It makes you feel alive for a moment but leaves you unchanged. Michael did not cry over you so you could stay stagnant. He cried because he saw the glory that was waiting if you chose courage. And courage is not about waiting for fear to leave. It's about moving anyway. You now know who is with you. You now know what has been draining you. You now know what needs to be released. The question is, will you honor what heaven just showed you? Everything won't feel resolved overnight. That's not the point. The point is that you are no longer walking blind. You are no longer calling dysfunction destiny. You are no longer bound to cycles that were built on fear. This is your moment of holy separation from the old mindset, from the wounded self, from the silence that once suffocated your spirit. Michael has done his part. Heaven has spoken. The sword has cut deep, but it has also made room for new breath. Don't wait for the next storm to obey. Don't ask for 10 more signs. You've received what most people never do, a divine visitation with clarity so sharp it could only come from heaven. Trust it. Walk in it. Let it change your steps, your standards, your silence. And if it hurts, let it. Because pain is temporary, but obedience births legacies. On this night, at this appointed hour, you are not just rising, you are crossing over. Into boldness, into truth, into the version of you that no longer fears the light. If this message is piercing your spirit and helping you step into divine truth, consider giving a super chat or super thanks today. Your support of $20 helps us continue creating powerful, prophetic messages like this one. We are grateful for every seed you sow. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. You'll receive regular prophetic guidance, exclusive content, and spiritual tools to keep you aligned with your divine path. Type I am crossing over to get the blessing 9511.